Back in 1992, a new Sonic puzzle game was on its way to the arcade machines, but a long story short, it failed its location test in Japan, and therefore it never got released nationwide. It wasn't until 24 years later it came to everyone's attention due to an arcade ball collector, ShouTime. In a nutshell, the game eventually got ripped and was available for emulation in late 2018, and then someone who goes by the name of Dustin M ported it over to the Mega Drive, also known as the Genesis. And this is the version I'll be demonstrating in this video. It's still early days and the port is not perfect, but seeming as I was on the front cover, I was eager to give this a go. So I present to you my initial thoughts on the long forgotten classic SegaSonic Bros. You'll be forgiven if you immediately think that this is a Tetris clone or even a premature concept of Puyo Puyo. Whatever. It's along the same idea, except instead of trying to clear a straight line or connect colours in a group of 4, you need to make loops or surrounding traps using the same coloured Sonics. You have Sonic the Hedgehog, Red Hot Sonic, Super Sonic, and the Sonic who was clumsy with a bucket of paint. Nevertheless, you initially commence the game with the former 3. You get 3 options when you're in arcade mode before you start. You can originate from the beginning and all level and score points you earn are proudly your own, or you can get a head start with normal or hard with some points in the bank. There are earlier decisions for going the genuine game, like altering the time limit or difficulty or even the speed, but for this examination I left all options as standard. The only one I was interested in was the language option, but as of this build it doesn't work and all the text will stay in Japanese. The premise seems difficult when you first initiate a game, but you pick it up really quick. You get a square shape of 4 Sonics and either slowly let them descend into place or hold the down button to make them drop quicker. Which, by the way, that's nice attention to detail, changing the sprites to their hurt pose as they rapidly fall. They also go into their roll animation every time you spin your selection, yet it only seems to be one way, clockwise, so A, B and C all do the same thing. Slot the Sonics into place and any overhanging colours will collapse. Make a circle to make those Sonics and any other enclosed hedgehogs escape. They do not have to be a perfect shape, it can be irregular loops, large or small rings, and you can even use the wall and floor to your advantage here. The sides and the ground work with any piece, so you can score some great points this way. Also, as long as you're using the wall to help, you can release the colours before they even collapse. Pretty handy. Clear the whole screen and you get a cleanup bonus. It is also possible to perform chains, but from what I can tell, it doesn't give you any extra points for doing so. Once you're near the top, you get a high-pitched siren alerting you that's the case. And to be honest, it just makes me want to rip my ears off! Reach to the top of the ceiling and it's game over. As you progress, you gain a new level rank, which noticeably the game starts to pick up the pace and won't be as generous with the colours you would like. But no worries, because each new zone you enter, you gain a Chaos Emerald. And when set, this creates a big blast and instantly warps all Sonics to the side and above to freedom. In fact, you can easily get a cleanup bonus by leaving a free space on the base and placing the emerald there. From what I can tell, you enter a new zone every 10 levels you advance through. You start off with Green Hill, duh. Then the special stage, that's oddly out of place, and then Marble, Spring Yard, and the highest I got to, Labyrinth. Once you enter Spring Yard Zone, Deluxe Sonic arrives, making the gameplay a bit tougher for you. I managed to get to level 44 from the very beginning with a score of 180,000, or by selecting hard mode, I got to level 45 with a score of over 1.1 million? How the heck?
You cheater!
No, for some reason, if you choose normal mode, you set yourself with 300,000 points. Already I've beaten my high score. Or if you select the hard approach, you bank 1 million. The score system seems a little bit scrambled here, and there are a few other bugs, but this is due to the ports rather than the arcade game itself. Dustin has already released a music fix for this, which is the version I'm showcasing today. But the melodies died every single time I used the Chaos's power for me. Well, at least on real hardware anyway. Other bugs I noticed is that the start button pauses the game no matter what you are doing. So a second contender couldn't actually join in halfway because it would just pause the game. And as good as the sprite work for Eggman is, on the very rare occasion he would become a glitched mess. but this is still a prototype transfer to the Mega Drive and is revision 2, so I'm sure there will be plenty of future updates even by the time I release this video. Although we couldn't actually find an option to go against the computer, my wife and I did give the 2-player method a try, and you can either go head to head or just play alongside each other as if it was a double 1-player game. The latter I've pretty much already described, but the versus mode is almost identical. From what we could tell, the only difference being is every time you clear some of your screen, you fill up your opponent's screen with ghostly skulls? To remove these clouds of death, you either have to ensnare them like you would to release the Sonic pieces, or they will just disintegrate themselves over time. The bigger your capture, the more fluffballs your rival has to deal with. But the great thing about these hazards is that you get to choose where they lay to rest. Whoever reaches the top loses, and you see Sonic either cheering or crying like a little baby. But I have to say, for a quick and cheerful arcade game, the sprite work is very polished, and that goes for the jingles too, when they want to work of course. I tell you what, if this was an actual Mega Drive game, I would buy it. I think I prefer Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine in terms of its gameplay structure, but the presentation to SegaSonic Bros most certainly gives it a run for its money, and this doesn't even compare to that cheap Sonic Eraser game. I don't think there was a lot I disliked about this title. The only thing I could think of is that the current piece that you have in play is so loose to move. Holding left or right would literally send the Sonics from side to side, and you would have to tap the D-pad if you want them to move a tile at a time. You also have to re-enter your name for the scoreboard every single time, but I'm just being fussy there. Damn it! I have to praise Dustin for his conversion here. It is superbly done, and if you want to try it out for yourselves, I'll leave a link to his tweet in the description. I'll be looking out for updates to this in the future, and we'll live stream it soon. Thanks for watching guys, and if you enjoyed this video then give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more reviews by me then make sure to hit the subscribe button. Or become a sponsor today to receive exclusive sneak peeks and other perks. But until next time guys, you have a wonderful evening. See ya!